And I know some people would say, ouch. I said, glory. But God went even further. And he said, I have to use insignificant people so that they can see the significance of who I am and what I do through them. And he took me back to Hannah, insignificant. There was Samuel, the prophet.
Her son.
Her son. And then Mary, insignificant. And we have Jesus, the life. So that is what God showed me. And then I work with women who feel they're totally insignificant because of the oppression that they have gone through. But today, God has raised them up to significance. They are a voice in their communities. They have self-esteem and dignity because of the power of the gospel. God has changed it around. And they all know it is God. It is not man, it is God that has done this to them. And that is the same way I feel about my life.
I just love the timing of this, as we've spent 2 weeks talking about God's invitation into his story. It's his big picture story.
That's right.
And we do have a part. And when we say yes, we become people of significance. That's in right. Christ. You know what I see too, as you talk about Hannah and Mary, and I'm sure you have other examples, yes. Theresa.
Mary Magdalene.
They're perfect. I mean, something else all those women have in common that your dear widows can relate to is shame.
That's right.
Hannah was barren, just the worst shame for an Israeli woman, Jewish woman. Mary was pregnant outside of marriage.
That's right.
On it goes. These women have been in Africa. They've been abused. It is a shame to be a widow, isn't it?
Yes. You know, I asked the Lord, you know, widowhood, is it a blessing or a curse? And at that time, it did look like a curse. But today, it is a blessing when you realize that even married women want to become widows. I mean, but as I said when I started, the widow's heart is singing. She can take care of her household, she can take care of her children, and her capacity to generate income. You know, that is amazing. I remember when Jim Cantillon came, the one widow stood up and she said, I used to just watch the sun come out and watch the sun go down. Today, I have money in my hands, something that I've never held, even when my husband was alive.
And handfuls of purpose. I just have 2 little examples that you've brought me. Here's my sister-in-law got a hold of this. She said, oh, I want to get the pattern of that. Let me look at that. Just great. I mean, everybody's using big bags nowadays, and we're not supposed to carry the plastic. So these come in all kinds of colors and shapes. There's a little zipper here. And here's some jewelry's very popular.
Yep.
You bring these over, and the women in the West say, oh, yeah, I'd like to shop. And these are just some of the many ways that women are finding handfuls of purpose and becoming self-sufficient.
That's right. And you know, just recently we opened one of our life centers, a part of what Living Truth, the funds they've raised. But this one was from a church in Arizona. And the minister responsible for women, child development, and community development came to the opening, and she did the opening. She was amazed at the crafts and what the widows were doing. She even called 2 widows and introduced them to the gathering there. And she said, would you think this was a widow? They even look better than the married women here, you know. But she said to us that she wanted somebody cares to partner with the government and to train even street children that they were taking off the street now, and involve the youth in the same, you know, work that the widows are doing. It's all coming together. It's all coming together from one generation to another. It's being passed on.
People from the West have had some involvement in encouraging this kind of income generating and just building the self-esteem again, helping to instill that significance that comes from knowing who you are in Christ. I know I just keep meeting people who've been to your villages,
Yes.
who've been with Theresa, and you've got a growing contingency over here.
Yes.
They just love to go. And of course, Rita Prinz
Right.
from WOW, Women for Orphans and Widows, an arm of Vision Led. Just, I don't know, she take 2 groups a year over there?
That's right.
I think so.
That's right. It's amazing. Vision Led has built not only the capacity of the ministry in community, but even in our offices. I mean, it's one of our strategic partners, and you know, materially, financially, and also spiritually, that partnership is bringing strength to community. And Jim Cantleman has spoken to our pastors, and he's coming this year to speak to our youth. That's the new wave. The youth are rising up. They are rising up because life expectancy at 37, they want to break that cycle of pain. And they are rising up. They are running with the baton. And they are on fire for the Lord.
Isn't that wonderful?
They're on fire.
That's our greatest hope, isn't it?
Yes.
Because throughout so much of Africa, especially sub-Saharan, a generation has been lost.
That's right.
The parent generation. Tragic. The numbers are shocking. But the hope is that the example and the influence of the gospel will take this young generation in a new direction, and you are seeing it.
We've seen it. The Lord told me that you need to shift to the youth. The youth will be a tidal wave. The pastors are a mere trickle. And I've seen that wave. Oh my gosh, I have seen it. They are sweeping through the community. And the chiefs and the pastors are listening to them. They're on fire for the Lord.
Well, my husband had the joy of listening to, this was quite a surprise to me, a choir competition.
Yes.
Where in Malawi was this, Theresa?
In Ngwangwa, where we've just finished building one of the early childhood centers, which is a life center.